Oh, welcome in, everybody. It is a Wednesday morning here on Morning Jox. Conrad Van Order, Damian Mitchell here with you for the next hour, getting you set for everything going on in the world of college football as we are now, believe it or not, Damian, we are 10 days away from live tackle college football. Tomorrow we'll be in the single digits.
It's been a long time coming, brother. And as we get closer and closer to it, man, it's just we can finally put to rest 2024 season, which I feel like a lot of people have because of everything that we're getting from fall camp and stuff. But once we hit that single day mark, it's here. Like we've made it. We're on the other side of it, man. Just think, back in June, we were sitting here discussing about, house settlement and realignment and stuff. In 10 days from now, that is on the after. That is the back burner. We are here for the action, and we're getting closer and closer to it, man. Can't get here fast enough.
And that's one of the best parts is that once we get to next week and you can actually start breaking down games and going, all right, what do we think of this matchup? What do we think of this team? What do we think of this team? All the house settlement stuff, all of the college football playoff expansion stuff, that stuff's still going on, but that goes out the window. Nobody cares about that anymore. We'll see you in late January when the season's over, and we'll revisit all that stuff. But we get you just get football, and you get the part of it that we all, I think, enjoy the most. But it feels like we get to talk about the least, at least in the off season. So 10 days away from the start of the college football season again, as you're going to have Iowa State and Kansas State doing battle there in Dublin, Ireland, which, as we now know, based on the AP poll, that'll be a top 25 matchup. And as Damian learned last week, that has a very real rivalry name that is Farmageddon. And yes, that is the actual name of the rivalry up there between Iowa State and Kansas State. So that'll be a great way to start off the season. Then 16 days from now, you're going to have Auburn taking on Baylor and what will be a massive, massive game on Friday night. I know for many of you, a lot of people, first impressions mean a lot. And especially in a year like this for Hugh Freeze and for Auburn, big opportunity there to make a good first impression as they will travel to take on the Baylor Bears in 16 days. And then 17 days from now, you'll get Alabama taking on the Florida State Seminoles and their new offensive coordinator, one Gus Malzahn. So we are, as Damian said, getting closer and closer. Tomorrow we'll be in the single digits, and it'll really feel like you are right there. So can't wait to get everything rolling and actually start to break down some of these matchups for y'all and what we think about Auburn and Baylor, what we think about Alabama and Florida State, what do we think about Texas and Ohio State and some of these other big games that we have coming up early in the season. So if you were living under a rock, then you will be excited to hear that Ty Simpson has been named the starting quarterback for Alabama. So if you are just now coming up to see the sun for the first time in 36 hours, there you go. Alabama named Ty Simpson their starting quarterback back on Monday afternoon. So we spent a lot of time yesterday just kind of talking about that, getting some reaction from you, the listeners, because we've had, I would say, a wide spectrum of responses over the offseason, Damian, in terms of what people want or think they're going to get with Ty Simpson. Some people, well, if he wasn't better than Jalen Milroe last year, why do we want this guy? Some other people, happy that he stayed loyal and stuck to the process, and he's going to be the next Mac Jones. So you've got people on both ends of the spectrum, but it's always very interesting because it feels like the backup quarterback yet again this year could be, for some Alabama fans, their most favorite or their favorite player on the team.
Yeah, a lot of people in the Keelan Russell and Austin Mack camp. Mostly Keelan Russell because of listen, we've seen it. Like, if you watch any of the practice clips that come out, we know. Like, it's there. But again, he's a freshman. Like, nobody.
That's my thing. Is how many people realistically expected him as a true freshman to
and get thrown right into the fire? Like,
it's not an indictment on him that he didn't win the job.
Exactly. It's, hey man, it's a lot more than just being able to spin the ball. It's commanding the huddle. It's making sure everybody knows exactly what their job is, and that's a lot to put on a high schooler, essentially. Like, jumping right into it and saying, like, yeah, he's the guy. Just give him some time, man. He may not know the entire playbook. He may not know certain coverages that, that the defense may be showing him and things. Like, there's a lot of things you can learn by just sitting on the sideline. It's like, okay, I see why Ty's doing this. Okay, he's seen a lot. Like, he's been here for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Same with Austin Mack. He knows the Kalen DeBoer system. He's been with him the entire ride. So it's like, okay, I can see it. And to his point, to Keelan Russell's point, it's nobody's questioning the talent. You can tell that, yeah, he has a different spin on the ball when he throws it, but also he's just not ready yet. That simple as that. He's not ready yet. But when he is ready, that's when we'll start having some conversations.
Well, and it goes back to what we were talking about on Monday, which, like Damian was just talking about, you have a situation where, through the first scrimmage, a lot of the people that were there and were able to actually take it in and see it with their own two eyes, it was, okay, yeah, Ty Simpson's the guy that he looks the most comfortable, he looks the most confident in terms of running the offense and doing everything that encapsulates playing the quarterback position. But from just a natural talent perspective, you could very clearly see that Keelan Russell had more of that than probably the other guys in the room. And again, that's not an indictment on anybody, but it just shows you how high the ceiling is for him in the future. But when it comes to, even like you heard Kalen DeBoer, he came out and said, like, when it comes to the little things like commanding the huddle and reciting the play calls and things like that, he's just, he's still learning, but he's a freshman. So, but we bring up Ty Simpson and go back through all of that for one reason, and that is because yesterday after practice, we got to hear from not only Ty Simpson, but also from Ryan Grubb for the first time, kind of addressing Ty being named the starter, what that means for the other guys, and Ty Simpson kind of getting to reflect on what that moment has meant to him. So we'll hear from Ryan Grubb first, then we'll hear from Ty Simpson, Damian. But how about we hear, this is how Ryan Grubb opened up his press conference yesterday. This is him, his opening statement, and then the first follow-up question on why Ty Simpson was named QB1 for the Alabama Crimson Tide.
I didn't know about the opening statement. Hey, guys, Ty Simpson's our starter. How's that? Pretty good? Okay, let it ride. What do we got?
Why is Ty Simpson your starter?
There we go. Good follow-up. Ty did a really nice job of, taking care of the football. I think, number one, I think Ty is an incredible playmaker on the move. And I think from there, guys like that, you worry, are they going to be able to train themselves to be able to take care of the football? And even the room in general, Ty led that charge, but Ty didn't throw any picks last week. He's thrown one all camp. We've thrown 4 total this camp, and this spring, I think at this time we had thrown 15. So I think in general the guys are understanding the concepts and control the offense a lot better as a room, and Ty was the best at that. And so his ability to command and create out of the pocket I thought was the best, make great decisions, and he's just much cleaner on some of the things that you expect an older quarterback to be able to do.
So there you go, command of the offense, noted there by Ryan Grubb as a big part of why Ty Simpson will be the guy for Alabama. I've been told that Ty's only had 1 interception throughout all of fall camp, and I'd say that's a pretty good sign, especially that was an issue at times last year. And so when you hear things like that, maybe for some of you get worried about the secondary, but I hope that means that I choose to look at that as you have a guy that's making good decisions out there on the field when it comes to distributing the football. So how about some more Ryan Grubb? How about this time he was asked, where has he seen Ty Simpson improve the most from not only through the spring, but through the summer and now through fall camp leading into the season?
I would say poise and decision-making. I think that his eyes would drop and he would give up on stuff really, really quickly because he is so athletic and can move. And now I just feel like, he's very poised back there. I think anytime you have a guy that can balance those two things, be an explosive athlete out of the pocket, but also know that he doesn't have to do it every time. I think that's the thing you love to see out of a guy like Ty.
So there you go, Ty Simpson, and he mentioned it a little bit there, but we've talked about this. He's got, he's no Jalen Milroe, but he can move around a little bit. When he came out of high school, he was a dual threat quarterback recruit. He was the number 2 dual threat recruit in the country in that class. So he's got a little bit of movement to him. He's not going to be a statue back there. It's not going to be Tom Brady back there in the pocket or anything like that. So but there you go, poise and decision making, big factors there for being a quarterback, obviously, and good to hear that that's where Ty Simpson seems to be improving the most this offseason. So how about the guy himself? Let's hear from the new starting quarterback of the Alabama Crimson Tide. And this was him recapping the moment that he found out he was going to be the starting quarterback for the Crimson Tide.
We had a quarterback meeting, and it was just us three, and then Grubb, Coach Sheridan, and Coach DeBoer were in there, and they were just like, guys, hey, we're gonna name Tyler starter today, and we went from there, and they were really appreciative of me, and congratulated me. Austin and Keelan did, and they just told me to go get it, and like I said, I can't thank those guys enough because I wouldn't be here if they didn't push me every single day.
So there you go. Found out while in a meeting with the quarterback room, and had the offensive coaches come in there and make the announcement in front of some of his teammates. So certainly a very cool moment for Ty Simpson the other day, no doubt about it. And finally, here is the Alabama quarterback, just kind of talking briefly about what this means to him, but also, as we've talked about a lot, he's a little bit of an unusual case at this point, right? He's had multiple opportunities to leave, but he did not. He wanted to stay at Alabama. He felt that was the best place for him. So this is Ty Simpson talking about what it means to be named the starting quarterback at Alabama and if he's glad that he stuck it out in Tuscaloosa.
It's a dream come true. I came here out of high school wanting to be the starting quarterback, and I'm just excited, and I can't, thank my teammates enough for making me look good, and I'm ready for the opportunity.
How happy are you that you sat back for 3 years, sat as a backup? How happy are you now that you made the decision to stay with Alabama?
Yeah, I think it's abnormal for sure to, not transfer in today's day and age, but, I don't regret it at all. I love being here. I love my teammates. I love this university. I learned a lot from the guys that played before me, like Bryce and Jalen. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them, and then the guys behind me, like Keelan and Austin. I think that they pushed me and elevated my game to a game that it's never seen before. So we're going to continue to grow it each and every day as a quarterback room as a group, and I'm excited about it.
So there you go, the new starting quarterback for the Alabama Crimson Tide getting to speak to the media for the first time since being named QB1 on Monday afternoon. And look, again, I'm not going to sit here. I'm not going to try to convince anybody that, is a Ty Simpson doubter or has, reservations about what he can be at the quarterback position. I'm not going to sit here and try to convince anybody of anything. But if you do want something to support and rally around, I think it's the fact that you have a guy that, as you just heard him say, right, it's abnormal to not go in the transfer portal in today's day and age. And I'll just say there's a pretty good track record of guys that, decide to stick around and wait it out and wait their turn and learn and develop and get better. That when they do get that opportunity, tends to work out pretty well. So I would just keep that in mind. And at the very least, you can respect that someone's staying loyal to a college football program. And we hear from a lot of you throughout the season of how much you hate college football now, or you don't enjoy it as much as you used to because it's too much like the NFL. Totally understand that. But this is one of the rare cases where this is the good stuff. This is the old college football and what makes it so special.
Ty Simpson wants to be at Alabama. Could care less about, when his opportunity presented itself. It's presented itself. He's taken advantage of it, and he wants to be the quarterback for the Alabama Crimson Tide. Simple as that.
I was about to say, there might be 24 kids across the entire country that you could go, that kid legitimately just loves that school that he went to and he wants to be there. And Ty Simpson is one of those guys. And there's more around the SEC, I know. And there's probably more on the Alabama roster, more on the Auburn roster, but there's not a lot of them, that's for sure. So good to hear from Ryan Grubb and Ty Simpson yesterday. Would love to get some of your thoughts on what you heard from the new quarterback of the Alabama Crimson Tide. How are you feeling now that you've had a little bit of time to sit on that decision and what that means for Alabama heading into the season? But we do have a little bit, and I wanted to do a little bit of a different route with Auburn today. So we played you some audio yesterday from Kent Austin and from Derek Nix there and some of the offensive coaching staff. And we got some good insight there. But there's something that has come out since then that we've started to piece together, and it's how is Auburn calling plays on the offensive side of the ball? And if you haven't seen this, I just want to get some thoughts. I know Damian, based on his reaction, he knows where I'm going with this, but we're going to take a quick break on the other side. Can you be successful if you have 3 different coaches calling plays on the offensive side of the ball because that seems to be what Auburn's doing. We'll tell you about it. Get your reaction next on Morning Jox. .620, welcome back into Morning Jox. Conrad and Damian here with you until 7 o'clock. Appreciate you making us a part of your day each and every morning here on Jox. And we let you hear a few minutes ago from Ryan Grubb the offensive coordinator for the Alabama Crimson Tide, as well as Ty Simpson, the newly named starting quarterback there for the Crimson Tide. So interesting to get to hear their perspective on just kind of how that decision was made. Why ultimately Ty Simpson was the guy that won the competition, where he's improved the most this offseason, and then cool getting to hear him kind of reflect on how this is a dream come true for Ty Simpson, and he's glad that he stuck it out in Tuscaloosa when a lot of other people probably would have transferred at some point over the last few years, but he stuck it out, and now he has been named the starting quarterback for Alabama. But how about on the Auburn side of things as we continue to progress through fall camp here? And so if you missed the end of that last segment there, the way that I kind of set it up, so we played some audio yesterday from Derek Nix and Kent Austin and some of the offensive coaching staff there on the Plains yesterday. And so they were going through, what's going on with the running back room, what's going on with the quarterbacks, what do they like about what they've seen so far in fall camp, because we've heard, a little bit about how the defense has kind of won the day a number of times at fall camp so far for Auburn. But this is something that kind of went under the, I think just kind of skipped past some people yesterday. And now that we've had some time to go back and re-listen to some of those interviews, it's interesting to break it down. So this is the play calling strategy since after speaking with Coach Nix and Ken Austin, getting to hear from them, this is essentially what has been pieced together. So Justin Hokanson is the one that kind of pieced this together through all of the interviews. But this is what appears to be the play calling strategy for Auburn on the offensive side of the ball. Now, I'm just going to throw this out there. Damian, you tell me if I'm an idiot and this is, commonplace at SEC football programs, and this is just the way that it works behind the scenes and we don't know it. So according to this breakdown, the way the play calling goes for the Auburn offense is Derek Nix calls the plays on first down. On second down, typically Hugh Freeze is the one calling the plays. And then on third down situations, you have Ken Austin, the quarterback coach, who's the one calling plays. So according to Derek Nix and Ken Austin and them talking to the media and kind of how they run things there on the sidelines, Derek Nix calls one play on first down, Hugh Freeze on second down, Ken Austin on third down. And according to the coaches, Hugh Freeze does have the right, obviously, to overrule any of their play calls because he's the head coach. But have you ever heard of this before, Damian, where you essentially, on any given drive, you're going to have three different guys calling plays depending on what down it is? And that seems like a lot of extra steps, a lot of extra communication that would be necessary to make that function like a well-oiled machine. And who knows, maybe it works perfectly for them, and there's a lot of other programs that do this. I've just never heard that before, and when you have the problems offensively that you have recently, I think it starts to make people go, are we making this too complicated?
I'm kind of looking at it from this perspective. Maybe it's more like, hey, this is what's going to happen. Maybe they delegate it as far as meetings go when they're preparing a script for the game, if that makes sense. Maybe Derek Nix has, on the script, he has like the first down coming out the gate situations, and these are the play calls that he has, where maybe it's divided kind of like that, where you kind of like all the plays are the same, but maybe there's a box of, hey, these are what, Coach Austin wants on third down. These are the certain number of plays. And if you're Hugh Freeze, he has like the grand spreadsheet, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like they all have the same script and they're looking at it.
Yeah.
And depending on, drives or, say they're on defense first and on the sidelines, they're kind of looking at it in the communication through the headset of like, maybe Coach Nix is like, hey, this is what I want on first down. Like, just this is what I expect them to be in. If they're not in this, then go to table 2 and just kind of go through that. So I'm kind of imagining it. Everybody's looking at the script, and Coach Nix has kind of been relegated to like coming out the gate first downs, and then Hugh Freeze is. I think I'm under the impression that Hugh Freeze is the play caller.
Yes, but
throughout the meetings they've had during the week, they're looking at the script. They're like, hey, Nick's like, hey, or do you want this? Do you want that? All right, and hey, I want play 2. All right, cool. I'm going to call that. And when it gets to like third down, it's more of a communication from Coach Austin of, hey, this is what, if we're in third and medium, look at play 7, or if we're in third and long, look at play 8, and kind of just go from that. I'm looking at it from, I guess, the meeting portion of it, because maybe it's like, hey, when we start this install, Nick's, what you want on first and short, or first down. These are the set 15 plays that I'm potentially could call, and we'll go from there. So I find it difficult that's going to happen in a game, but it's more of a communication of, hey, these are the plays that I'm expecting to see when we call first down runs, first down RPOs, whatever, first down passes. And then when we get to third down, we'll be like, hey, switch over on the headset and like, hey, Austin, like, what are we looking at? This is what I'm thinking. And it's just kind of like the it seems like it's a lot of communication, but they already have that anyway because they're coaches. Mm-hmm. But it does kind of feel like, okay, well, are we leaning more? So what are the dignified duties for a quote unquote run game coordinator or a pass game coordinator, or is it just being dignified, or is it just kind of just being spread out because Coach Free's just he's just like, I'm just sticking to these are the play designs, but y'all tell me what y'all feel comfortable with.
I appreciate that breakdown. I thought that was a very good breakdown. And I mean, okay, I'll be honest, like I didn't play college, because there's people that are on the text line like, oh, Conrad's trying to stir something up against Auburn. I legitimately have never heard another team break it down like that. And it may be, like Damien's kind of saying there, it may just be the way that it was communicated or came off, from the coaches talking about it, I don't think it's a stretch to hear, oh, okay, so you have one guy that's on the headset calling every first down play call, then you have another guy that's calling every second down play call, and another guy that's calling every third down play call. The way that you broke it down, that makes infinitely more sense, and I would be shocked if that's not the way that it works, because that sounds like that would actually be a pretty clear way of communicating things, at least during the game and on the sidelines there and things like that. But this is based on what the coaches said in interviews the other day. I'm not making any of this up. This is what the coaches, they straight up said this to the media. But it was just, it sounded bizarre. I'd never heard of a situation like that. And so maybe it is commonplace, but the way that Damien just broke it down there, I think that essentially answers it for you, but I promise you I was not the only one that had questions about that. It sounds a little bit bizarre, but it would make sense that, you would have, kind of the way that you would have a run game coordinator that, let's be honest, that's probably going to be the guy that's calling plays on first down or kind of focuses more on first down stuff. Whereas a passing game coordinator or quarterbacks coach, you're probably going to be more focused on third down situations, right? Because that's when you're going to be throwing the ball more often than not. So I thought that made a lot of sense. Great breakdown there by Damien of kind of the way that the play calling goes there on the sidelines for Auburn. Because I know a lot of people yesterday were kind of scratching their heads like I was and going, oh, this doesn't sound like it makes a whole lot of sense. But there you go. Maybe just more of a way of the game plan and prep and the way that things are set up during the week there. So that kind of gets you up to date. What's going on? The latest from Auburn and Alabama in fall camp is, again, a reminder that you're going to have the second scrimmages of fall camp. Auburn's coming up on Friday. Alabama's on Saturday. So expecting to get more good intel there and see if things have changed a little bit for Auburn, as the offense may be coming along a little further this week in fall camp, whereas the defense won the day in the first scrimmage. And then conversely for Alabama, can the defense step up a little bit and hold down an offense that had a really, really strong showing this past weekend? So we, of course, will keep you up to date on everything going on around fall camps in Alabama and Auburn. But we had another big story in the SEC yesterday involving a quarterback, his Venmo, and some gambling allegations. And we now have maybe a little bit of clarity on what's going on there, as we have statements from both John Mateer and the University of Oklahoma. So what does the future hold for the University of Oklahoma quarterback? We will tell you next on Jox.
6:33 here on Morning Jox. Damian Mitchell alongside Conrad Van Order. Having some fun this morning, getting you caught up on all things Alabama and Auburn. And, of course, we have to talk about somebody that we're extremely high on here on Morning Jox. It's old John Mateer. If you, like Conrad said earlier, if you've been living under the rock, it has been a very interesting 48 to 72 hours for John Mateer as a Venmo screenshot for one John Mateer surfaced up a couple days ago, and it was labeled under, sports gambling, specifically USC and UCLA. Well, John Mateer goes on, he definitively denies these allegations, and he said that the Venmo, I guess you'd say, caption was taken under false pretense. And all we have is what was presented to us, and it specifically said sports gambling. But he openly said that I have never gambled in sports.
Yeah, he did make a definitive statement. He definitely made a definitive statement. So this is the statement. This was released on his social media accounts yesterday. That's how things go now, as we all know. So this is the statement from John Mateer. I'll read it for you verbatim. Quote, "The allegations that I once participated in sports gambling are false. My previous Venmo descriptions did not accurately portray the transactions in question, but were instead inside jokes between me and my friends. I have never bet on sports. I understand the seriousness of the matter, but recognize that taken out of context, the Venmo descriptions suggest otherwise. I can assure my teammates, coaches, and officials at the NCAA that I have not engaged in any sports gambling," end quote. And again, we talked about this a little bit on Three Man Front, and as Damian just kind of alluded to, I think, it's a very definitive statement. And again, I'm not saying that this is something that could come back to hurt you necessarily, but I mean, what are the odds you gamble on something that wasn't sports? You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
I'm just saying, I find it hard to believe that you wouldn't have ever done that in some capacity, but maybe he truly hasn't, and he never will. But I mean, the next time, if he ever finds himself at a slot machine and somebody takes a picture of that, I think we all know how that's going to go. But that was the statement that was released by John Mateer. So definitively says he's never gambled ever on anything, let alone just sports, but never gambled before on sports. So don't have to worry about that. Then the University of Oklahoma, their athletic department, of course, they also have to release a statement. So their statement reads, "Oklahoma Athletics provides ongoing education to its student athletes, coaches, and staff on matters related to sports gambling. The department utilizes Prohibet, which is a industry standard service offering comprehensive monitoring of sports gambling activities. OU takes any allegations of gambling seriously and works closely with the NCAA in any situation of concern. OU Athletics is unaware of any NCAA investigation and has no reason to believe that there is one pending." So the good news is, if you're Oklahoma and John Mateer, that I don't think anything's going to come from this. I don't think that should be a big surprise. We talked yesterday about how are we really going to ding a guy for this from 3 years ago? And, you could lie your way out of this situation pretty easily, I think. So what was a fun little dramatic couple of days on social media with all the fun frenzy going around with the screenshots and everything on Monday night, it seems that has come to rest, and we maybe we'll never have the full story, Damian. Maybe that'll just be something that John Mateer takes to the grave with him one day. But if nothing else, gave us something fun to talk about for a couple of days, and now we get to watch our boy go and potentially win a Heisman Trophy.
Absolutely. And to be honest, like I said yesterday, I legitimately do not care what John Mateer does with his money. I don't. I don't think it was ever an issue. It's like, okay, if he wants to make some wagers on some games, so be it. Okay. The only thing he has to worry about is the NCAA. Is like, hey, man, you can't do it. Slap on the wrist. Like, you're in trouble for that. Other than that, I do not care what he does with his money. Unless he is sending some to his fan club down here in Birmingham, Alabama, do your thing, dog. I do not care.
He should do that, though.
Exactly.
He should do that.
So all the earnings that he got from taking the over in the UCLA and USC game, I'll take 2%. just to say that you sent it over. I appreciate it. I'll shake your hand and I'll find a jersey to wear. Boomer Sooner.
Yeah, that would be nice. So, and I mean, selfishly, like, I mean, I just kind of wanted to watch him play this year, so I didn't want anything to happen to him. I mean, I've been I mean, just being honest, he's one of the guys that I'm the most looking forward to seeing what he looks like. We spent a lot of time talking about him, how great we think he's going to be. So glad to know that it seems like that's going to be okay. And that'll be something that we all remember. Oh, yeah. You remember when that guy, the Venmo captions? Oh, yeah, that was fun. It'll be one of those types of stories down the road. So looks like everything's all cleared there for John Mateer and the Oklahoma Sooners. But we have some people on the text line, like this one that rolls in, says, "Are y'all ready for Moneyline Mateer? Let's go, Boomer Sooner." That's a great name.
Exactly.
Moneyline Mateer.
And he could go out here and do the funniest thing ever. His first touchdown pass, he can hit the Johnny Manziel.
Oh, yeah, do the money?
Yeah, I'd love to see it.
I would.
Lean into this.
I would not be upset about that. Let's see. Somebody says, "This really wouldn't be that hard to figure out. It would take about 20 minutes of investigating to see if the other dude has ever or still does book games. Other than that, it's a non-starter." And yeah, I'm guessing you would go and look at the guy that he paid on Venmo, and it'd probably be pretty easy to be like, "Oh yeah, that's my buddy. That's my old roommate. That's my, whatever." Something along those lines. And look, I paid my friends for Venmo and put some stupid captions in the past. Granted, nothing that could implicate me in my job, but it is what it is. But yeah, I think it's a pretty big non-starter. If anything, it's just kind of funny at the end of the day. But this text rolling in, it says, "Mateer hit him with the 'I did not inhale.'" Well, no, you didn't. But you better hope that nobody goes back and finds you ever gambling or playing in an innocent poker game or anything along those lines, because people will have a field day with your statement then. That came from John Mateer. So that's the latest on the Oklahoma quarterback. But y'all chiming in with a lot of different thoughts on a lot of topics. Some of you chiming in on Alabama. Some of you chiming in about Auburn. It's a day where you can tell that we are right around the corner from college football season. You got people, you're talking too much Alabama. You're talking too much Auburn. Somebody texted in at 6:00 before we even got on the air, before the theme song was done. And they woke up and said they chose violence. And we'll tell you why they chose violence. But we love to hear from you, 205-834-9450. Your thoughts, all things college football, Alabama, Auburn, John Mateer, Venmo, whatever you got. Let us know, and we get to those next here on Morning Jox. Welcome back into Morning Jocks. Connor and Damien here with you until 7 o'clock. About to get to your text messages, get to your thoughts, your reaction to everything we've talked about this morning. Ryan Grubb addressing the media yesterday, as well as Ty Simpson about the new starting quarterback there for the Crimson Tide. Damien gave us a great breakdown because I tried to stir up the pot on Auburn and convince Auburn fans that they should be concerned about how they call plays on the offensive side of the ball. And Damien corrected me and told me how stupid I am. So I appreciate that. And, of course, we gave you the latest on John Mateer, as it looks like he will be all good to go in Norman, Oklahoma this year. But something that's coming up a week from tomorrow, actually, Damien, that we're very excited about, of course, is our kickoff to college football.
Absolutely, and help celebrate the kickoff to college football with us at the Bill Smith Buick GMC Jox Kickoff Party at Regents Field on Thursday, August 21st. And the only way to go is by winning tickets. This week is the last week of qualifying. To enter to win a pair of tickets today for you and a guest, text the keyword football and your full name to 205-834-9450. Again, the keyword is football and your full name, to 205-834-9450. Winners are drawn and notified daily. For more information, visit joxfm.com.
Thank you, Damien. Yeah, we look forward to seeing many of you out there at Regents Field a week from tomorrow. Will be a big time as we kick off college football season. So quickly, some NFL news breaking here just a matter of minutes ago before we get to the text line. The Bills have just agreed to a new contract with former Georgia running back James Cook, as he was kind of holding out of training camp, hoping to get a new deal done there in Buffalo. So he gets a 4-year, $48 million deal with the Bills, a $30 million of that being guaranteed. So yet another example, Damien, where running backs starting to maybe get paid a little bit. And Saquon Barkley certainly, I think, doing that position group some favors with his performance last year. And now James Cook getting a nice contract there to stay in Buffalo with Josh Allen and the rest of that offense. So there's your NFL news coming down just a matter of minutes ago. But we do want to finish up the show going to you, the listeners of Jox, and 205-834-9450. That's how you get on the courtesy GMC text line. And so this is what I was talking about just a couple of minutes ago. This text came in as the intro to the, like we're sitting here getting ready to go. You're listening to the intro to the show. This text is already coming through. We have a child catching strays at 6 a.m. I think it's about to be football season. Antoine chimes in. I woke up and chose violence this morning. To all my Auburn fans, especially Don and Bennett. Bennett is a child. I would rather have a slight fall from the top than have to rise from beneath the floor. Roll damn Tide. Y'all will always be our little brother. That text came in as the intro to the show is playing.
What did Bennett deserve this for, man?
You got a 14-year-old child catching strays at 6 in the morning.
Bennett's just trying to go to school. Now he's got to, be on high alert.
And you're telling me this means more anywhere else in the country than it does here in Birmingham, Alabama. I don't buy it. That's the kind of stuff. That's what makes our listeners different. That's what makes college football conversation in Birmingham, Alabama, the best in the entire country. And we appreciate people like Antoine and Bennett and Don for being a part of it. Man. All right, let's keep it rolling here. We have, let's see. Someone says, so if you missed it yesterday, because we talked about this a couple days ago. So the line for the Auburn-Baylor game has been a little weird because it opened up and Auburn was a slight favorite. Then it moved to Baylor being a slight favorite in the last couple of weeks. Now Auburn's back to being a slight favorite. So someone chiming in, they say, do you think that Malcolm Simmons having his case dismissed, is that what made the point spread swing back towards Auburn? Or is it due to the fact that Baylor's second-string running back is now injured and going to miss the game? I think you could say that both of those, obviously, both of those things would lean more towards the Auburn side of things. But, just kind of the ebbs and flows of things in Las Vegas, right? You may have had somebody that really loaded up on Baylor, or a couple people that really loaded up on Baylor, and that's why you had that big swing. And now it's getting back to, because it opened up as Auburn is a slight lean, and I know they're going on the road, but I would think it's still going to close with Auburn in a slight lean.
It depends where John Mateer sends his money. Is he sticking with his SEC brethren, or he's like, hey, Baylor, Big 12, it's Friday night at home in Waco, because he's from Texas, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, Depends on where he puts his money at. We'll see what that line does.
Let's see. Fanboy chimes in. He says, are there really people upset that a certain person didn't get a quarterback job? The season still hasn't even started. If you're talking about, I assume you're talking about people that are upset that Ty Simpson, or maybe they wanted someone other than Ty Simpson. Yes, there are people that are not happy that Ty Simpson will be the quarterback. I will say, I think more people have started to come around with the idea now that they know it's their reality. But yeah, no, there's certainly people out there that still don't want that. Let's see. Chris chimes in. He says, I hate fall camp because I hear great things about Ty and the offense, which is great. But then at the same time, I'm like, oh, crap, what's wrong with the defense? It's stressful. Yeah, I think there's a lot of fans that, again, you're just trying to figure out exactly what it is. Let's see. Okay, Don and Damian going at it a little bit. Don chimes in this morning. Jackson Arnold's getting better and better every day with the improvement of Perry Thompson, plus knowing that Malcolm Simmons will play, and the emergence of Preston Howard. Look out for the offense. SEC and the Bammers, be warned, we're coming. Okay. Appreciate it.
So Auburn's going to an air raid. That's what he's saying.
I guess so.
Okay.
I just like that he specifically calls out, like, the whole SEC is on watch, but specifically the Alabama fans. Thank you, Don. Lewis chimes in. He says, well, what office doesn't have 3 managers? What Fortune 500 company doesn't have 3 CEOs? What army doesn't have 3 generals? Nothing could go wrong there. I assume that's in reference to the play calling conversation we had where you had 3 different coaches essentially saying that they kind of handle different downs and play calling for those downs on the offensive side of the ball. And somebody was really, really not happy about that this morning. They said, well, both of the coaches said that Freeze had ultimate authority, highly involved in the play calling. Gumps loved cherry-picking quotes. This isn't a story. It was simply a question that I posed, and I thought Damian answered quite eloquently. Someone says, this isn't an original idea in play calling. I've never heard of it before. Let's see. Of course, you lead off with positive Alabama news and then immediately troll Auburn. So playing audio of the offensive coordinator of Alabama is now considered good news, and asking a question about how Auburn calls plays is considered trolling?
Can't win for losing, brother.
No, you can't. Let's see. Conrad's trying to stir something up. Damian coming through with a logical explanation. Damian did have a great logical explanation. See, and this is where you got 2 sides of the coin, because then you have somebody, Jamie chimes in, he says, y'all are spending way too much time on Auburn. Auburn has done nothing. They're going to do nothing this year. Also, if you're going to do Alabama second every day, be consistent with that. I don't try to listen in when you're talking about Auburn updates. That's why I got in my truck purposely at 6:20 to hear you talk about Alabama. And I won't ride into this Auburn bunch of crap. Roll Tide. Let's get on with it.
It's football season.
I appreciate you listening this morning, Jamie. Let's see. Bobby chimes in. Has anybody revealed how they got screenshots of John Mateer's personal Venmo? Because it seems odd that someone can legally get that info out of nowhere. You can just go. You can go look people up on Venmo. It'd just be like going and looking at somebody's, Twitter profile and seeing all their tweets or something like that. Gavin chimes in, says, y'all see the Athletic article on Texas being the new Alabama?
What?
I did see that, yes.
What?
Let's win a national championship before, please, God, before we have those conversations.
Come on now. Like, cut the foolishness.
Yeah. Let's see. We have a listener from Arkansas saying, I won tickets to the Jox kickoff party. Really excited to meet both of you. Well, we're excited to meet you as well, man. It'll be a great time.
Call the Hogs.
Be a great time out there at Regents Field next week. Let's see. Someone says, Damian, what happened to the segment with the I'm a Rockstar baby playing in the background? What segment was that? That wasn't Rip and Read.
Right.
I don't know. The show's had a couple of different iterations over the years. Let's see. Someone says, forget Alabama and Auburn. I just want to go to UAB to go to a bowl game. Yeah, I'm sure they would like that as well. Let's see. Lance chimes in. Love the hatred this morning. You absolutely know it's football season. Yes, you certainly do. Appreciate y'all joining us this morning. We're back tomorrow at 6 a.m. Coming up next, it's McElroy and Kublik in the morning.